Let's not sugarcoat it. 2025 had some of the most hyped K-dramas in recent memory, and some of the worst disappointments too. These weren't just your average mid-shows, these were expected to dominate, backed by insane budgets, huge names, and prime-time schedules. And yet, what did we get? Storylines that fell apart, characters that didn't click, and finales that made viewers actually angry. Let's go through the disappointing K-dramas that flopped in 2025. When the Stars Gossip. First up, When the Stars Gossip. This was supposed to be a cultural reset. Lee Min-ho and Gong Hyo-jin in space. A star-studded cast. A massive $34.9 million budget. The buzz was loud, the anticipation louder. It premiered January 4th, 2025 on TVN. By all logic, this was a guaranteed hit. Instead, it tanked. By episode 3, the viewership dropped to 1.9%. It never recovered. The plot? Gong Ryong, an obstetrician, is on a mission to fertilize a deceased man's sperm into a family friend's egg. In space. Meanwhile, Eve Kim, played by Gong Hyo-jin, is focused on a scientific experiment with mice. The two meet on the space station, their missions collide, and emotions start bubbling. Then comes a crisis, a life or death situation that ends with Eve sacrificing her life during childbirth. Even with the BTS OST, Jin himself singing Close to You, and even a steamy love scene that grabbed headlines, nothing could save it. According to critics and viewers, the chemistry is cold. The plot is absurd. Reddit and X were brutal. The last episode was just stupid and silly. From the fast-paced nonsense to whatever the scriptwriter wrote. Except for the cute baby, nothing makes sense. I'm angry AF. And still, a few diehard fans clung on. When the Stars Gossip didn't aim to be perfect. No series is. It aimed to remind people of what truly matters most in this world. Life, love, family. For those of us who understood, the series was an awakening. And that's what Lee Min-ho intended and achieved. You awaken us, Miho. Respect to them. But for the majority, this was a disappointment with a capital D. Melo Movie. Next is Melo Movie, a drama that sounded like an emotional, slow burn masterpiece. It follows a movie buff and an aspiring film director. They fall in love, separate, then meet again years later. Sounds promising, but the execution? Dead on arrival. The core issue? The male lead basically expected the woman to put her entire life on pause for 5 years while he disappeared. Emotionally, physically, completely. When he returns, he acts like she should just fall back into his arms. Romance wasn't even the focus. It was buried under clunky themes of personal growth, dreams, and introspection. Viewers expected heartache. What they got was a therapy session that dragged. Listen to this user on Reddit. I think it's time to finally admit to myself that I'm never going to finish that last episode of Melo Movie and that I'm dropping the drama. It was a very slow, painful, and pointless struggle trying to get through that snooze fest. The only reason I even got through the first episode was the fact that Kim Jae-wook was in the series. I could watch that man recite the alphabet and still clap like a seal. And another. It's a slice of life and definitely not a rom-com, as some might have suspected from the trailers. Basically nothing happens except for passage of time, seasons, and life with a bunch of likable and annoying characters. It had potential. But Melo Movie became the kind of show you keep telling yourself you'll finish until you realize you just don't care. Crushology 101. Then there's Crushology 101. A campus romance about a sculpture student named Ban Hee-jin, or Bunny, recovering from a breakup, suddenly surrounded by 4 handsome men all vying for her attention. Sounds fun, right? Wrong. It aired during a competitive weekend primetime slot, and by episode 2, it dropped to 0% viewership. MBC's worst performance in 4 years. According to critics, the actors are not popular enough to lead the drama. The romance is unbelievable, and the characters? Flat, unlikable, forgettable. It didn't help that it aired against Buried Hearts finale and Resident Playbook's premiere, 2 giants. Even industry insiders questioned why this was scheduled to compete on a weekend slot. And Reddit agreed. I dropped Crushology. I'm sorry, I tried, but I didn't connect with any of the characters, nor even Bonnie. Another person agreed with this opinion by commenting. Same. Unfortunately, I tried watching it and kept convincing myself, but the main characters have no chemistry. I also feel as if female lead has no personality. I really wanted to like it to watch something light. Now I'm watching Shop for Killers and Weak Hero Class 2 quality K-dramas. It had all the ingredients of a fun rom-com, but the execution was so dry, even slow-motion hug scenes couldn't save it. Weak Hero Class 2. Let's end with one that really stung, Weak Hero Class 2. Season 1 was brilliant. It had emotional weight, grounded violence, and sharp character development. We saw Cheyenne, Suho, and Byung-suk fight their demons in a way that felt real. Raw. Intimate. Season 2. It went full Fast and Furious, School Edition. The plot shifted to some bizarre gang war storyline, complete with high school alliances that felt more like mafia syndicates. The emotional gravity from Season 1? Gone. And the actors, most clearly in their late 20s or early 30s, were still supposed to be high schoolers. Viewers noticed. Only watched the first 4 episodes till now, and if I'm not lying, it's mostly a mess and nowhere close to neither the manhwa nor class 1. They rushed it way too much. Character development is pretty bleak, not going to lie. Even the fights fell off. Sloppy choreography, missed punches, and weird pacing. But the worst crime? They threw out the source material. Completely. Key characters were removed. Motivations rewritten. The clever, strategic Cheyenne we loved? He was barely a factor this time. The webtoon's arc had Cheyenne dismantling gang systems piece by piece. Thoughtful, slow, calculated. But in the drama, it was chaos with no build-up. Still, some fans held on. Season 1 will always have a special place in my heart. But Season 2 I thought was fantastic. The individual fights were cool, and I especially liked the first fight between Si-eun and Yeon-tak. There were a couple of scenes that I got teary, but I love the ending. Let's be clear about something: all the actors mentioned in this video did a phenomenal job. This isn't on them. Their talent, commitment, and delivery were never the problem. And this is not a bash session aimed at any of them. These aren't just nitpicks from angry fans. These are real reactions to shows that promised magic and delivered mess. And again, these weren't low-budget rookie productions. These were headline dramas with money, talent, and attention. So why did they flop? Because bad writing never wins. It doesn't matter how good your actors are, how pretty your sets look, or how famous your soundtrack artist is. If the story falls apart, the audience will too. Thank you for watching to the end. See you soon.